All right.
Oh, we're here.
Yeah.
Still alive. Haven't been drafted yet.
Right. Yeah. Well, those kind of things take a while, right? I mean,
Couple
when did they
years.
start drafting? You got to kickstart the war, actually, right? And then we got to get attacked first on the home base. That's how it works.
Right.
So we
I don't
need,
know if we'll ever do the draft again.
I don't know, right now, if we were to rock the World War III and we needed to draft, I think you have to bring in the bodies just because I don't think our drone tech or robot tech is there quite yet.
Mm,
And I always thought AI and drone tech would help us avoid any kind of war-like scenario, draft-wise. Like, we'd all be
you're right.
here
There's always
hearing
going to be
about.
war.
Yeah, well, we're a war machine. Did everybody forget this, by the way? There's all these people in the MAGA world losing their mind that like, oh, how dare we start another war? All we do is start war, man. That's how we make money. If we're not actively doing the warring ourselves, we're doing proxy warring in other countries against other countries. And we haven't
Right.
we haven't dropped any big buster bombs in a long time. You gotta take the dusty items off the shelf once in a while and run them around in the yard for
Right.
a bit. You can't keep things just
Exercise them,
hanging out.
yeah.
Yeah, like that
Yeah.
old car in the garage. You got to start it up once in
Right.
a while, take it for a drive around the block. You got a guest
Right.
only toilet in the house. We have our basement bathroom that Em and I never use. Once a month, I go down there, I flush the toilet and run the pipes a little bit to get the water flowing through there, just to make sure it's still operating, right?
Nah, good call. Good call. And it is amazing to hear everybody talk about how nobody else has a bomb this big, and nobody even has a plane that can carry a bomb this big. Like, think about how amazing that is. Not only do we have the biggest bullet, we have the biggest gun. Like,
Great call.
yeah.
Yeah. What I thought Russia had that space-based intercontinental ballistic missile that might be bigger and faster than anything we got, allegedly.
The supersonic.
Yeah, right. Didn't they drop one on Ukraine after a couple drone strikes? They're like, okay, we're not messing around now. We're gonna drop this bad beast from space, or at least it's the one that they like shoot up to space, and then it just like falls down at the speed of a comet, right? And it like obliterates everything. Apparently, I thought they had something like that.
Right, but I think we're talking difference between ICBM and just like a regular bomb dropped from a plane.
Right. And our bombs still though bigger, better, beastlier. Is that what we're talking here?
I mean, this is amazing. These planes took off from America and just dropped these bombs in Iran undetected and then came home.
I heard they shot off like 30 aero ballistic missiles from the submarines. That took an hour and a half to get to Iran, and then while those were going, we had the 14 B-52 bombers flying, and then they dropped the bunker busters, and
Wow.
it all kind of simultaneously happened.
That's
It's pretty
amazing.
That's pretty cool. I think timing wise, I have
Pretty
a hard
cool.
time meeting people for happy hour. You know what I mean? So it's pretty impressive that you have people that we have humans that can coordinate this team of bombs firing at this. It's like that old math
Uh,
equation like Mike leaves the train station in Chicago at
right.
8:45 and Frank goes to the station in Denver at 10:45. Like, you know what I mean? Like there's some serious like kind of existential math going on here that's beyond my comprehension, which further makes this whole thing super impressive, right?
Yeah. Purely amazing.
Well,
It's
I gotta
amazing how
say,
powerful we are.
yeah, and Iran threatening to retaliate, and there's all these claims on the interwebs that Iran has systematically throughout the last 4 years of the Biden administration, they've kind of pumped through a bunch of these sleeper cells through our southern border, and now they're all over the place waiting for the signal, and they're all going to unleash. And so I assume
Mm.
whether or not they exist, the seeds have been planted. The idea is in our minds. So we are ripe for a false flag of some sort or a terrorist scenario unfolding. If I were the FBI or CIA and I'm like, man, I really want to kickstart a war and I need a false flag, now's the time where I would unleash any of my false flag ideas on America.
100%.
100% from Mike. All right. So, nut
100%.
logic guy, we're riding on the same wave. That means everybody should be very concerned. All right,
Well,
extremely concerned, everybody.
they gotta get everybody into the war. Nobody's buying the
Yes,
war right now. Dude, the balls on Trump. He didn't even try with any yellow cake uranium. He was even like,
I know.
like his intelligence director's telling him, "No, they don't have the bomb." He's like, "I don't believe her." Pete Hegseth, I don't believe him. I was gonna say, fuck them.
Yeah,
You know, that's amazing.
absolutely.
Fuck them. We're gonna bomb Iran anyways. That's crazy.
Pretty crazy stuff. I'm personally not down with all the warring and all this stuff, but I do want to say I predicted this very accurately earlier in the week, simply based on the missing chemtrails. I have never seen no chemtrails for 5 straight days in a row. And so I think ultimately, if we are to be proven anything from this assault on Iran, it's that the Air Force is behind the chemtrails. They're chemtrailing us. It's all hands on deck in the Middle East, blue skies and sunshine for the last 5 days. Don't give me
Mm.
your hocus pocus conspiratorial nonsense that it's the first day of summer or that there's some sort of seasonal thing happening or maybe the skies are blue, the sun is warm, less clouds. I don't want to hear none of that nonsense. I'm strictly basing this on the fact that we are kickstarting World War III. We dropped some bunker buster bombs over the weekend, and mysteriously, chemtrails and the military sized planes dumping the poison in the atmosphere have suddenly disappeared in the lead up to this bombardment. So I called it.
Mm.
I based it on, I did the old finger to the wind, and I was the old man shaking the fist at the clouds, and I realized, wow, there's no more clouds. We must be going to World War, right? That must
That's
be
how you.
what's
That's how you
happening here.
know. That's how you know. Those 14 pilots, they were the ones spraying the entire country.
Over round and round and round and round and round, Mike. Circling around Denver mostly.
You're gonna notice tomorrow they come back.
Well, I think this may lead to some counterattacks. Like I said, there may be the sleeper cells. Everybody's been talking about this for at least a year. Sean Ryan, the guy who definitely isn't in the CIA, who was contracted to the CIA for 17 years, he had a former CIA agent on his show, believe it or not, and they were discussing back in January that we have approximately 1,000 or so known sleeper cells in America currently waiting for some kind of signal to unleash. They're going to do something like they did in Russia, where they set off a bomb here and a bomb there, and then they emerge from the ground with their machine guns and just start shooting people left and right. So that's allegedly
Yeah.
what's going to happen. I don't know if it is Iran. I think if a terrorist attack occurs, it's a false flag. I just think that they've set the stage for that. You need the false flag to push us into war. You need the general consensus of the Americans, the hoorah, the we're fighting for America. It's not French fries anymore. It's freedom fries now. We're going to
Yeah, you need
war,
the
baby.
yeah.
So They need to get that going. The only way we get it, we got to be attacked on the homeland. So I I think we're ripe for the false flag terrorist attack, which then will lead to World War III, and then we'll get the draft, right? And you and I, good thing we've been doing our push-ups recently. I'm still three quarters, still drive the Subaru, but
No, dude.
we're able-bodied and within the age range, right?
Too old, man. That's why they cut it off at 35. 37 is like, man,
Thank
you
God. Well,
twist
I
that
think.
ankle, you're not running again the next day. Like, you're down
Oh
for a
my
week.
God! Remember last week I slept funny for 2 hours and then I had to cancel the show because I couldn't even go to work.
It's not I don't think I could ever man up like I used to. Man.
Well,
Although I do gotta
since
say, man, there's it's been proven now. I lost weight and I've proven it. There was never a global warming. It's just the global fattening. Because because dude, you would have thought Armageddon was happening if you paid attention to the news in Chicago. Frank, it's gonna be 93. Feels like 157. You're gonna melt. I don't know if you're short trips because I don't even know if the AC in your car will handle it. It was so crazy. I mean, it's hot. It's hot. But when you're not a fat, you know, tub of lard,
you ain't
it's
kidding,
way
man.
bearable.
Well,
It's bearable.
I think they just knew they had a heads up. They're like, we're canceling chemtrails for the week, right?
Heat
And so
dome.
we got the heat. Here we go. I got it for you. Heat dome.
I love the
Yeah.
words. Dude, the news has been crazy the last,
They
like leading
can't
up to
fake
it,
it.
and then all we get no, dude.
Heat
And this is
dome will
after the
blanket much
coldest
of the
spring.
US. Literally, it's been the coldest June. We've had the most rain. It's been overcast. I mean, it's actually, I
Yeah,
complain a lot about the chemtrailing and all that stuff and the geoengineering, but all that weather modification aside, it has been a lovely spring and kind of a
lovely.
very nice, temperate, comfortable summer to begin with. So, a heat dome welcomed, I would say. It like feels nice to feel a little summer action, actually,
Yeah,
right?
it's not that bad. You people need to lose weight. Trust me. When you lose
The
weight, you
heat
can
dome.
tolerate it a lot more.
Well, I gotta say, I'm looking forward to everything that's unfolding now. I was thinking about how now that we have this new draft coming our way, I'm gonna head down the street to the local Walgreens, get me that new COVID booster shot. You know what I mean? I was thinking maybe with the draft coming up, I get myself the old myocarditis, and then I can call myself out of the draft. Sorry guys, not really feeling it. I don't think I can make the team this year. Maybe we'll wait for the next war.
Don't worry, we gave all of our soldiers myocarditis. You just join the club. Don't even worry
I'm
about it.
I'm thinking everybody needs to get their booster shot, man. I don't know if you've been following the news. I think we're all very wildly distracted right now. And so it's easy to forget that, you know, while we may be in the throes of World War III potentially, um, currently, Mike, we should be checking our own backyard and keeping our
Hey, February, the
distance.
newest COVID-19 variant on the rise now has a nickname of Nimbus. It comes from the NB.1.8.1 subvariant of Omicron. It is spreading rapidly, and it appears to stick to our cells. And
What the fuck did you just say to me? Did you hear that?
These people,
The
with Tony Fauci out of the game, they're really missing the beat right now. And I don't know, there's something up with the Democrats where they keep mistiming all this stuff. Like, they're like, okay, let's release this new COVID variant and scare the crap out of what's that? World War III? Damn it. Damn
damn it.
it. They're just totally missing the mark here.
That was a crazy variant though. And
Oh,
did you
don't
hear
matter.
all those numbers? Frank, this totally
Well,
wasn't created in a lab. It's totally natural. Its name is
um,
N1V2.
We're calling it Nimbus for short, and it was started with a pangolin having sex with a bat in a wet market. All right, just bear with us on this one.
And it appears to stick to our cells and infect them really well, which means you may want to be on the lookout for a few nasty symptoms. The main one reported right here, a hoarse voice and a wicked sore throat, said to feel kind of like a razor blade sensation, according to symptom trackers. Infectious disease specialist Dr. Stephen Blatt of Ohio's Tri-Health told me lots of us don't associate a sore throat with this virus. So, since this might be your first noticeable symptom, remember this.
For those people who are at risk, the virus hasn't gone away and they still have to respect it.
This Nimbus subvariant also seems to be causing a second unusual.
Everybody, Mike, everyone is at risk, and you could get nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, bloating, constipation. I like how you could be constipated and shitting your pants at the same time with this one, right? You know, and you got the stomach pain. You're in pain. You can't shit, but you're simultaneously like spraying shit all over it. Like that's how bad this thing is, man. And don't forget the heartburn.
Are you shitting too? You shitting too much? No, doc, not at all. Oh, that's even worse.
Yeah, you got Nimbus.
It was a trick question.
You know, they can't sell the COVID anymore, man. What a bummer.
Nimbus.
But yeah, I thought you would like that. You know, it was hanging around there this past week, and you know, I was glued to my devices this weekend as little as possible, even though it was hard not to be. I mean, this is crazy shit what's going on with Iran, right? I mean, I think you and I have been through a few scenarios with the 9/11 and the endless 20-year wars that followed, and you know, we were teeny tots during the first Gulf War, right? So, you know, we've seen a lot going on over the years, but this one, man, this was like out of nowhere they just decided we're going to bomb this country and nobody can do anything about it, and no one voted on it. And here we go. We're in World War III.
Yeah, I don't think anything's gonna happen from it. I don't think you're gonna see World War III.
No,
Probably
me
see a
neither,
regime
actually.
change.
Regime change, and I kind of think this has everything to do with China, honestly, because Iran and China, huge business partners. I was reading about the Strait of Hormuz. Did I say that right? Where Iran's threatening to shut it down, and apparently, I think we get like 3% of our oil from that area utilizing that strait, and something like 70% of the resources going through there go to China. So if they shut it down, it'll really kind of mess with China. I think at the end of the day, everything we're doing right now, everything the Trump administration's geared towards, it's screwing with China and bringing money into the United States.
I think it's all about money, yeah. Probably trying to save our economy. I mean, just think about you talk about launching those missiles from a submarine, B-2s flying around the world. We just made a lot of money. Well, we spent a lot of money.
Yeah, man.
You know, our defense
this
contractors.
This is the war machine, right? Isn't this the military industrial complex that's live in action? We're going to destabilize. Our CIA's been probably working the situation and the scene down in Tehran for the last several years, if not decades, and now bringing the bombs, little regime change, cultural revolution, maybe, but ultimately now we can get our greedy hands in the oil. Yeah.
Oh, don't forget about the minerals. Where's Lindsay?
Well, we can't let
they want the
Putin
minerals.
get his filthy claws on our minerals. Lindsey Graham, I read, is seeing a doctor right now because his erection has lasted more than 24 hours. And so he's getting that checked out. There's no stronger Viagra than bombing the country that you've been trying to bomb for the last decade.
He's so happy.
Yeah, actually,
it should scare people how like excited these guys were to bomb Iran. And I do like that Ted Cruz interview was going viral because these people were so excited about bombing a country they don't even really know anything about.
Yeah, 92 million. I don't care, right? Who cares? We're bombing, man. We're making money here.
Regime
Yeah.
change, baby.
What-
It's a win-win.
That's what's crazy about this whole thing to me is I think most people should be nervous when the Associated Press, CNN, Fox News, and everybody else in between have similar headlines where they're kind of
Oh,
stoked.
you're psycho, dude.
They are stoked to be
No, that's
bombing
the
Iran.
scariest-
And
when they all line up.
yes.
They all line up on one thing. Fucking bombing another country.
Dude, I was shocked when I saw the headlines on CNN. When I like tuned in this morning, I'm like, ooh, I can't wait to see how they paint their. They've made this man Hitler forever, and now Hitler's finally bombing some country that never attacked us in the first place, right? So it's the most Hitler thing you could ever do.
Without approval from Congress, like no
Yes.
vote from Congress, no nothing. This guy just. This was your chance.
This is the Hitler playing card in the Hitler deck, man. And literally not one peep about him being Hitler or a dictator. No, like everybody in legacy media, Fox News, CNN, Associated Press, very flattering headlines as Iran and regime change is concerned, and the desire, or just how this is all going to benefit America on some level. Man, we're all the way back to 20 years ago when I have to go turn into Democracy Now! To get some fair and balanced information about what actually is going on in this conflict. Because lockstep, man, legacy media is on the same page. Fox News, man, they were jerking each other off the other night as they watched the bombs fall. I mean, dude, Sean Hannity walked on with no pants. It was incredible. The guy was just so excited. Everybody's so excited on all the news channels because
they ended up in Jesse Waters' car. Nobody knows how they got there.
Yeah, man. I mean,
nah, they're all crazy.
It's disgusting though that's how deep. You know, we've been ragging on big pharma and the pharmaceutical industrial complex and the havoc it wreaked upon America starting in 2020 and ever since. My God, what a smokescreen that was for the real villain in our modern era, the military industrial complex. That beast controls everything, man. And it's both sides with that. At least with the big pharma, it was mostly Democrats. So we could like pick a side of some sort. We can go a little MAHA for a moment here and battle the big pharma, demonic beast that it is. But no way with the military industrial complex, man. This thing controls the world and everybody's all in on it, dude. Everybody's going to make a killing on this one. And Trump's all in, man.
How could you not?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy though.
He told you to buy the dip.
Yeah, that's right. Man.
Yeah,
good call. But yeah, here we are now. World War not 3, I guess. I'm glad we're both on the same level with this one, this is more than anything just a money grab. And buy the dip. I'm sure Bitcoin's going to have a nice little run. And I know gold and silver, that's where you want to start putting your money, right?
Yeah, which is already high. Crazy.
I know. It's where you're supposed to be throwing all your cash only at. I think this was all ultimately, though, a huge way to distract us from the news that broke this week. I know you and we've been really, I don't want to say preoccupied, but we've been checking in and out on the whole Diddy process, right? And the entire Diddy case that has been unfolding. And quietly, I think they actually got the true villain behind all of this, and this is why they started World War III. Fat Joe sued for $20 million by former hype man. An explosive complaint alleges rapper engaged in sex acts with minors and coerced him into more than 4,000 sexual acts to maintain his standing.
Excuse me?
Yeah, that's right, people.
Go fuck
Fat
yourself,
Joe,
dude.
dude.
Hey, you got laid a bunch of times at work, dude. Get the fuck out of here.
Dude, but it's
pussy.
his male
complaining now?
hype. It's his male hype man that Fat Joe was diddling around with, dude. What is with these rappers and banging
Oh, no.
banging the fellas?
That's not what that said.
Yeah, for sure, dude.
Nah.
Yeah, the lawsuit.
I thought they were just, like, forcing him to, like, fuck he was, like, forced to fuck strippers and some shit.
No, I think this guy was getting.
I don't think he was
I
diddling.
think he was messing with them. Man.
Nah, I don't think Fat Joe was fucking the
I
dudes.
don't know. Are you sure? I think that's what is coming out from this whole thing. Yeah,
Uh,
that's what
even Fat
Dixon
Joe?
states in the complaint that Fat Joe forced him into, quote, humiliating situations, including sex acts performed under duress and surveillance, accompanied by threats of abandonment in foreign countries if he refused to comply. Wow, he was coerced into more than 4,000 sexual acts to maintain his standing within.
With
Well,
Fat
yeah, I
Joe?
assume. Most shockingly, the suit claims Dixon personally
No.
witnessed Fat Joe engage in sexual relations with children who were 15 and 16 years old in exchange for cash, clothing, and payment for her cell phone bill. She would perform oral sex and other sex acts on the rapper. Wow. All right. Yeah, maybe he wasn't involved. I thought this guy was, but I guess he
No,
was
dude,
maybe.
no information available suggests that Fat Joe is or has engaged in sexual activity with men.
Okay. Damn it, dude.
No, that's what I mean. This guy's just a pussy. It's pretty much like they were partying and Fat Joe was like, "Hey, you better fuck that stripper," you know?
Oh, Fat Joe. All right, man. Oh, I misread it. I thought for sure this guy was blaming Fat. Okay, well, Fat Joe
So this guy's
still
like
gross
crying
though. I
about
mean,
having
doing.
sex with strippers and like, you know, maybe a couple underage.
All right, all right. I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna diddy this one up. I'm thinking maybe Fat Joe having a good time. Not totally sure if the gal's 16 or not, 15. Probably. You get them dolled up. Maybe they can lie about the age. You get the fake ID involved, right?
Terrible.
I think it's just a disgusting world. That's what's going on here. We're living in a disgusting world.
It's terrible. That's what happens when single parent households. That's what I blame it on.
Man, that's what these guys, these rappers, dude. They it's like they had to pay all this money to fake the lifestyle. It's unbelievable.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
lame. Very lame.
That's really weird.
I was made to believe
Yeah.
that they were living it up, man. Pimping. Big pimping. Spending the G's,
Big
man.
pimping. Spending the cheese.
We've all been lied to.
uh,
Uh,
I mean, they were just pimping the dudes.
oh
Weird.
man. Well, either way, we're cruising along.
weird.
Did you speaking of the rappers hip hopping, we joked about it the other day that uh Big Willie Styles got his new jam, his new hit out, the summer song of 2025, Pretty Girls.
It's so good.
It's
Did you see that clip of him in the crowd? Oh, dude, this is hard to watch.
About to do some investing, spend it on you and your bestie.
He's like, I put out this song so nobody thinks I'm gay. It's called Pretty Girls. Then he does this hype video where he's in London and he's dancing next to a dude, man.
And nobody else
No,
is
it's the
dancing.
lamest.
Nobody's even. Oh, it's
You and your twin on
hard
your
to
jet
watch.
ski. I'll change your life if you let
Everybody there looks so depressed and sad to be in this video. It's very
me.
unbelievable.
Girls. I like it.
He's surrounded by dudes.
And how does he not hear how bad that song is?
Yeah.
I like Pretty
It
Girls.
was getting stuck in my head the other day. I noticed that, like, I was.
That's a terrible song.
Yeah, it's a really just bad all around song. It's too bad. Nobody, Will Smith has no friends to tell him that it's just not a good song, right?
Now give it up. And what is going on with his kid?
Yeah, I saw that actually.
What?
Was
He is like a gay New York fashion designer's version of a gangster.
What's his name? Little Willie style?
Little Willie? Yeah, I have no idea.
I
Jaden?
think he's struggling with the reality of his own father and what's going on.
That
Yeah,
his
his
dad's
dad's
gay,
in a bad spot. I
and his mom was like fucking his friend, right? Isn't that what happened there?
maybe like his.
Like the mom Yeah, remember the mom cheated on Will Smith with the kid's friend?
Oh, I thought it was Will
Is it-
Smith's friend. I didn't know it was the kid's friend.
Nah, I think it was the
Wow,
kid's
that makes
friend.
everything so much worse, doesn't it?
All of Will Smith's friends were gay.
That's right. Fellas that like fellas. Oh, there's a lot going wrong with this
Yeah.
fella here, Jaden Smith. You just put his name in there, and he wears a lot of very strange clothing, and some would argue, it might be women's clothing, but no different than like Jared Leto and all these other weirdos. He's got a Jared Leto thing going on, and Timothy Chalamet, and
But he like tries to be like gangster.
yeah, it's like he's got a
Okay, he's got a
purse. Yeah,
purse.
you're right. It's like gangsta chick, but gangsta lady fella chick.
Like,
Yeah.
lady fella. Is he a lady fella? That would make
No, I
more
don't think
sense.
he's an official lady fella.
Oh.
That's Dwayne Wade's kid. Dwayne Wade has a lady fella.
But he's the Will Smith's kid's always wearing the pants like almost down to the knees.
Right,
It's
yeah.
crazy. Have you seen those? Like,
Yeah.
what are you doing?
Well, I think that's the look. The kids are into the Jankos now.
Yeah, I guess coming back.
I don't know. If you get the fashion in there, maybe.
That's when you know you're old and you're like, pull your pants up, kid.
This guy's really bizarre. He's really he mixes a lot of feminine style, and he's probably making a ton of money. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, richer
Yeah.
than us.
He's
Yeah.
wearing skirts. Yeah, I
What
can't
he's
get the
doing to
baggy
get it.
jeans or whatever thing, but just like there's that Harry Styles guy. He was really popular there for a minute and kind of disappeared, but he was rocking full on like summer dresses. And women were all about
Wow.
how he's like the new face of masculinity and all that.
I have no idea who you're talking about.
Yeah, Harry Styles, man. You don't remember Harry Styles? He was part of One
No.
Direction, and
I never watched One
you
Direction.
never got into that.
No.
Yeah, I
That's one of those things where it's really funny how famous it was. I can't name a single song.
wow, this poor guy. The humiliation ritual that they make these people go through for the Illuminati is just so unbelievable. You got Harry Styles
Man.
there. He's
Brutal.
yeah, that's the new face of masculinity in the modern era right there, Mike. That's what we're dealing with here.
That's a Kamala voter for sure, dude. That's what they look like.
Oh man, well, it was a busy weekend, a lot going on,
Mm.
and I couldn't help but think about how here we are. It's got to be about 10 days, maybe or less, where a nut job walked around Minnesota in a police officer's uniform with a rubber mask on and assassinated a senator or a sitting Congress member and injured a senator and their spouses with a hit list of like 30 other, individuals that he was going to go after. And I was literally thinking about it yesterday, maybe 2 days ago, and I thought, man, I've heard nothing about this mysterious dude who shot these people. He's basically disappeared as quickly as Thomas Crooks, who tried to assassinate President Trump
It's crazy.
almost a
It's
year ago.
crazy.
So I remember I wrote down some notes, and in my notes I'm like, what happened to the Minnesota assassin? And I just drew a line from it, and I said, must be Democrat. right? This must be a Democrat because we're hearing nothing about this guy.
Yeah. Oh, if they found a MAGA hat in his apartment, that you'd hear about him
Well, the interview
nonstop.
with his roommate, super bizarre stuff. The guy was like in tears and kind of mentally all over the place. I was seeing stuff out there that people were claiming the interview with the roommate was fake and that he might have even been AI generated or there might have been something kind of some kind of fakery going on there. Did you watch those interviews with the roommate? It was kind of really
No.
goofy stuff. The guy was out of his mind, but nothing really just made sense. When they interviewed the roommate, he was this big, fat, sweaty dude who apparently was a pizza delivery guy for Papa John's. And he immediately started distancing himself from the entire situation and then claiming that his buddy, who is now accused of these crimes, he was definitely a Trump supporter and big time MAGA guy, loved Trump. And also, he kept throwing in there that he was a huge InfoWars fanatic and loved Alex Jones and always, so they were,
Mm.
it all seemed very fake. And then the story disappeared, which I found to be bizarre. And then all of a sudden, some information cropped up, which I think is fascinating and more amazing than ever that people kind of swept this under the rug. So we had to go to your favorite, Mike, Jesse Waters.
Jesse
He's
Wa-
here. He's given us the lowdown on the manifesto of the masked character and some information that legacy media doesn't really want to talk about.
Assassin who disguised himself as a cop to shoot down Democrat politicians and their spouses. He killed 2 and seriously injured 2 others. Today, we're finding out he wrote a letter to the FBI claiming he was trained by the U.S. military, quote, off the books, and that Tim Walz asked him to kill Amy Klobuchar so he could take her Senate seat.
Excuse me?
Yeah.
This guy's just
Come
crazy.
on, man. He preemptively wrote a letter to the FBI knowing Kash Patel would be there to receive it. And he said, I am killing people in the name of Tim Walz. Hi, 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 hi. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. I think the guy's crazy. Probably schizophrenic.
You're not going for it.
Nah, I don't think Tim Walz had any connection to this guy. I don't think you could label this guy anything. You know what I mean? I know everybody wants to label him Democrat or Republican, but he's just a crazy guy. You know?
I totally agree with you. There's no way we could pin this guy to a political party. I think what we'll end up figuring out in the long run, this dude has some connection to like Fort Bragg, or he was trained at one of these forts, and definitely one of them that have the MK Ultra programs going on. And this dude was probably high wired and trained, and maybe they hypnotically placed a trigger word in his mind and catch up on the wall, catch up on the wall, catch up on the wall, man. And he just, he heard the phrase, he went after it. And right beforehand, he's like, maybe in a moment of clarity and sanity before the trigger word, he's like, something's going on here. I've been brainwashed. I'm going to write this letter, send it to Kash Patel over at the FBI, get the word out before I actually commit this crime. Because there's going to be a moment where I'm going to be this like Manchurian candidate, kind of like I'm going to have no control over my being. And you read into the MK Ultra stuff, they nailed 60 years ago the ability to drug people and or infuse ideas into their brains using frequency technology. I mean, Manson and all these other characters that Jack Ruby.
But not to the level that you're talking about here.
I think maybe they could,
like, go get a mask, hyper realistic mask,
yeah,
get the gun. Like, they're not.
It's what I think happened to the Thomas Crooks fella who allegedly fired off the 8 bullets at Donald Trump in Butler, Pennsylvania. I've always believed that simply based on eyewitness testimony, the erratic behavior of the kid, also the constant changing story. The kid clearly had some handlers going on. There was some three-letter nefarious activity going on there. You know, I think ultimately it makes more sense that this kid was probably brainwashed through some sort of MK Ultra style technique, and he was not in his own mind, but still perpetrating the act, just like this guy who killed these people. I think that's how the MK Ultra works. You get someone who's susceptible to it, someone you've hypnotized or drugged, put them in a state of mind where they will receive the command, and then without their conscious knowing, carry out that act that they're being programmed to do. And maybe they don't ever come out of it, or right at the last moment after the act is performed, it's like, well, what am I doing here? Right? Like even Oswald, I've always kind of claimed Oswald, like maybe he did fire a couple bullets, but then he came out of the trance and he's like, what the hell am I doing with this gun in my hand? Where am I, man? Right?
Where am I?
So instead, Oswald not murdered on the spot, but
Maybe.
before he could really squeal, I mean,
Maybe.
one of the truest words potentially that came out of Oswald's mouth was, I'm a patsy. And that's when he was being carried away. And then the next chance the press has to chat with Oswald, Jack Ruby pops into the crowd and fires a couple bullets and kills Oswald before he can say anything. A lot of people believe Jack Ruby was an MK Ultra type individual, brainwashed to carry out the one task, which was to take out the other brainwashed guy who carried out his one task, right? Same thing with the dude who killed RFK, who's still in prison now. He believes and openly discusses now that he thinks that he was brainwashed or tricked by the CIA and maybe a part of the chaos or MK Ultra program, and that's why he carried out his attack on RFK.
Damn. That's crazy that's RFK's dad.
Yeah, right? It
RFK
doesn't that it
Jr.'s
gets
dad.
lost a lot in all of,
It's really
pretty interesting, huh?
hmm.
Well, right on.
All right.
Yeah, man. So you're not buying it, I
That
take it.
was I think he was just a crazy guy.
Right.
Yeah, I think he was just crazy. Maybe he actually thought Tim Waltz was talking to him. Maybe Tim Waltz went over there to change the oil. They had a little bit of a conversation. You know what I mean? The guy took it the wrong
Yes.
way.
Good call.
You know? Could happen to anybody.
Oh man. Well, at least the FBI is working on stuff that I think is, good for Americans on some level. We do get kind of caught up in all the major headlines, and I'm hoping something comes out of this whole little letter that the assassin sent to the folks over at the feds, but I found it interesting that this one kind of slipped under the radar for a lot of people this year or this week, which is Dan Bongino announced FBI apprehended 449 child predators and rescued 224 kids in their first 3 months, in his first 3 months as deputy director. Yeah, man.
I mean, is there more to go? That's fucking. That's got to be all of them. How many fucking predators do we have?
Dude, I mean, they haven't even made it to the Finger Lakes and, Hunter Biden's buddies hang out over there, right? Who knows what's going on?
I mean, Jesus Christ.
But it's amazing that got. Did you hear about it? Was anyone ranting and raving about this on social
No.
medias? No. But in the meantime, people are freaking out over the fact that some federal judge is now releasing Abrigo Garcia into the public. And then they also released that other jackass who wore the kafifa and started all the protests over in Colombia.
No way. They're letting Abrigo Garcia. They're letting him out on bail.
I think they're letting out Abrigo Garcia. Yeah.
No, fuck that. Oh, that's crazy.
Well, they let out the one.
Man.
They let out the one dude who I, for a long time, kept confusing with the gay hairdresser, who I now think wasn't even a real story. I think that might have gotten made up.
No, I don't even know.
There was a gay hairdresser somewhere there.
That gay hairdresser's living his best life in that Venezuelan prison.
He's the most popular roommate there, man. Come on.
Loving it. Queen of the ball. Yeah, dude. You know what? I've been just addicted to the story I can't get enough of. Senator Padilla.
Yeah, man.
They keep trying to make this guy a thing. Like, they literally brought him back to like make a big deal out of it. Then that night, Trump bombs Iran. This guy can't catch a break. This guy can't.
So then he
catch
goes
a
on
break,
TV and
dude.
cries. I think I found a clip if you want to watch it. It's he's interviewed and asked about how he feels about JD Vance calling him Jose Padilla, which is absolutely hilarious.
Jose? Oh.
Yes.
Democrats, get a backbone, please.
Let's toss it out actually.
Please.
This is the party trying to rediscover masculinity and bring bros over into their party, right? We need more bros, more men, man. So Vance apparently referred to him as Jose Padilla, which makes everything about this guy's sad story so much more pathetic.
He's currently the president of the Senate where you serve. He also went to Yale. I assume that he
Is everybody gay in the media? Like every
I
single,
know, I do. Yes.
every pundit, man. Do they have to be gay? dude?
Come on, man.
he knows your name.
Just so out there gay. You know what I mean?
Like, yeah, can't you just be Tim Dillon gay? Like normal gay?
Right.
Name is Alex.
No, Don Lemon wasn't enough, so they got this guy.
Dude, great call. Yeah.
It's the younger Don Lemon.
That's a hairier Don Lemon. Don going a little thin up top. They had to, youthify,
Oh,
right?
man. He's on his way to Turkey right now.
Dude, they
Get those
they
hair
announced
plugs.
they started regrowing hair on mice, actually.
Frank, you gotta fucking open with these stories. What are you doing? Fuck this guy. I don't even know what we're talking about. What the fuck? Jose, get the gay black guy, get out of here. They're growing hair. Come on, man. Front page news, dude. Extra, extra.
I thought I sent this to you, man. Yeah, breakthrough
No.
cure for baldness. 100% of male mice regrew fur with new treatment, my man.
Wow.
Researchers at San Carlos Clinical Hospital in Madrid have developed a cure for androgenetic alopecia, commonly known as pattern hair loss. An estimated 80 million Americans, 50 million men, 30 million women experience alopecia in some form. In the study, published in the journal Stem Cell Research and Therapy, researchers used a combo of fat tissue-derived stem cells and the energy molecule ATP to reverse hair loss in mice with shocking results. All of the male mice grew back their coats. Half had full regrowth, while the other half had intensive regrowth. Among females, a whopping 90% saw intense or complete hair revival. Yeah, man. All right.
And are they looking for human
That's
test rats?
While the findings will need to be replicated in human trials,
Yeah.
the results pave a promising way forward in the fight against hair loss. All right. Yeah.
Alright, I might get
Hell
my hair
yeah,
back
man.
before
I'm
I
gonna have
die.
them put it just like right under my nipples. I'm just getting like really, really hairy nipples.
Do
That's
a
what I'm going
smiley
for.
face.
Yeah.
The nipples, and then just a nice little smiley
And just like on the side tracks next to my nuts, I've always wanted just really thick sideburns for my ball sack. Just really bushy 70s era sideburns on the nuts.
Ooh, itchy. They're really itchy.
Yeah.
All right. ATP 1.
Right. Yeah. Looks like it, man.
All right.
This is very promising.
Man,
If you want to get,
hurry
if
it up.
like Bill Gates and Tony Fauci want to get everyone actually signed up on their mRNA technology, create an mRNA vaccine that grows hair back. You'll get everybody lining up for miles, dude.
everybody,
Yes.
yeah, dude.
Has it been 6 months yet? I'd like to get my booster shot.
Looking a little light here.
Yeah,
Boost.
man.
Or say it's the cure for erectile dysfunction.
They're going so
That
I
w
love the no agenda
that
fellas,
is
and Adam Curry posted a theory like 2 years ago that the ultimate outcome for the semaglutide GLP-1 drugs for the weight loss will be curing erectile dysfunction, and that's kind of where it's gonna head, and the news has
uh,
recently teased that they believe there is some evidence to prove that the semaglutide helps cure erectile dysfunction.
no, it is not the fucking semaglutide, it's that you lost weight, you fat ass. That's what's giving you the EDs, you're fat.
Right, but known side effect, pencil dick. Everybody knows that when you take the semaglutide, you lose all the mass everywhere, unfortunately. So
Dude, is that
no, I just
true?
made it. I
Does
made
it
it
get
up right
rid
now,
of
but
the
yeah, just
skin, like,
made-
hangs off? Can't tell you, you know, your
just the
nut sack
shaft though.
from
The
the
head still
shaft there.
stays the same exact size, but the shaft just shrinks.
Just loose skin and then a giant head. Oh, that's terrible. The semi-glutides. No, but everything they say that, like, they're attributing to that, it's really just the weight loss,
Right. Yeah. No. Totally, man.
you know?
Emma was talking about how in her college years, she went to school in Alabama, and Alabama specifically, not the healthiest state in America, and she gained that freshman 15, and maybe it was a little more like a freshman 20, right? And kind of,
Mm.
not obese, but a good thickening occurred in that freshman year. And she was telling me how that winter, her dad invited her to, meet him in Colorado and go skiing on a trip. And she said the experience of and the pain of bending over to put on the ski boots was so shocking that it ignited her path to lose weight, because it was just, oh my God,
Yeah.
I'm not that fat, but I put on enough weight to where bending over to pull the ski boots on is painful. I gotta lose this weight because I can't imagine how much further. And she was kind of telling me like, just being even a little fat is uncomfortable. Being obese must be the most uncomfortable thing
Yes.
in the world. And why we're talking about it is because we were discussing Lizzo, who's clapping back at all the haters right now because she's looking fabulous and feeling incredible. And you know what, Mike? Yeah, maybe she did use a little Ozempic to lose some of the weight, but you know what? She's feeling great, and there's nothing bad
Ah, it's
about it, right?
crazy.
And you know what? Big is still beautiful, but thin is also more beautiful, right? Yeah,
Oh,
that's
thin is
thin is
in,
in, my
yeah.
man. Yeah.
Fucking, the clip went viral with, Tom Segura, where they were talking about, how Ozempic proved the body positivity thing was a lie.
Yes, dude. Yes.
Because if you really felt beautiful and everything being fat, why are all you fat bitches taking Ozempic? You know what I mean? This easy weight loss thing comes out, and all you fat people are taking it.
Absolutely, dude.
It's a
Lizzo is the
lie.
poster child in my book for the big is beautiful movement, and she
Yeah.
was the first one to jump on that Ozempic train, man. I mean, it's pretty obvious. There's
I mean,
one little lawsuit propped up where she was sexually harassing people on her team, and then all of a sudden she disappears for 6 months, loses 150 pounds, and now she's back at it and ready to get it, man.
that was Fat
That's
Lizzo.
right.
Yeah. Just like Bruce Jenner killed the bitch, not Caitlyn. Come on. You know? A whole new guy.
Yeah, it's amazing though. Yeah, the end of the big is beautiful movement, probably very good for our society, but m- I'm seeing the
Very good.
semaglitude advertisements everywhere. There's no way this is a good thing, and it's going to lead to the fact that they keep tacking everything onto it signals to me that they want to poison as many people as possible as fast as possible. There's no
Oh,
way this has
God.
anything.
It's too good to be
Yeah, oh,
true.
Mike, You want to quit smoking?
There's no such thing as
You
a
want to quit eating?
miracle.
You want to quit
Yeah,
drinking booze?
know.
You want to quit smoking pot? You want to feel thinner, lighter, happier, faster?
You ought to have a bigger, stronger erection.
Yeah, man. What?
Frank, everything you've ever dreamed of. Women will love
You
you.
know what? It may cause you to go blind, but that's a small price everybody's willing to pay to look fantastic.
1 out of 100. Goodbye. What are the odds? It's
Yeah,
crazy.
man. Well, we're winding down here, Mike. Anything on the docket that was kind of tickling your fancy there, since we are kind of...
I mean, I like how you got Chicago on there twice.
Oh, did I put it on there twice?
always
I
a
may
good
have
sign.
accidentally...
Well, you got teen takeovers and Mary
I
Johnson.
think it's
Oh.
the same one. I accidentally put it on there. I doubled down. Because I loved it that much.
Dude, this guy is just he's just taking playbook out right out of Obama's hands here. With the remember what was that guy, Trayvon Martin?
Yes.
Could have been my son.
son, man. And so let me see. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Johnson was doing one of his town halls that he's been getting wrecked by his constituents at, which there's some great videos out there of people just absolutely destroying this man and telling him, like, you know, you may not realize it, but Chicago went 30% harder to the right, and they're going to double down even further in the next election, and you ain't coming back for the next round. I finally got to see him in real time respond with one of your favorite comments, Mike, that you used to chat about all the time.
He says it every
Where
day. I hear this guy say
apparently, no matter what the question is, he relates to himself being a father of 2 black kids, you know, and he can relate, and he's going through he knows what you're going through. He's going through himself, man.
Frank, I'm in it. I'm raising these black kids.
We'll play the clip because he says something in here where it's just mind blowing to me that he was even elected because of what he says in this clip. But here's Brandon Johnson here. He's asked about the teen takeovers and whether or not they should be bringing in more cops to, you know, shut down these kids. And this guy thinks, no, we don't need more cops, man. We need to just show up ourselves and be fatherly to these kids because they're like my kids, man. Right? So,
come on, more cops. That's the last thing we need.
Brendan Johnson.
We need more bowling
That's right.
alleys.
He's here discussing or responding to the question of what they should do in as far as these teen takeovers.
We should be celebrating the fact that violent crime is going down in Chicago. That I'm rolling up my sleeves every single day. I told each and every one of you, I live in Austin. There is no mayor in the history of Chicago that wakes up in one of the most violent neighborhoods in Chicago. This is the thing that I think about every single day, protecting our children.
But he lives in one of the worst neighborhoods and was voted as mayor. Like, did he run on his merit? He's like, hey, I'd like to run for mayor of Chicago. Just look at my track record and how I treat my own neighborhood, right? How did he get voted in?
And then he hasn't made the Austin neighborhood any better.
That's my point. Like, if I were running for mayor, my first thing would be, first and foremost, I'm going to improve the neighborhood I live in. Well, I'm going to make things better for...
Since it's one of the worst
I'm going to make it better for all of us here.
Right.
No, he's doubling down on his crap theories for how to run his city, and he's currently living in the epicenter, in the ground zero of where it's the... I mean...
Ground zero.
Well, at least he's eating the same, you know, like he's shitting where he works, so he has to experience it too. It's not like Jared Polis, where his jackass ideas are destroying all of Denver and, you know, where all these people work and live, but he gets to, you know, go to his fancy neighborhood somewhere in Boulder, far away from where everybody else is. Or
right. Oh yeah, no, he's in it.
I don't know where the governor's mansion is, but I assume he's got his own private security to stop people who could stab him while he's...
So that's the caveat. Brandon Johnson has his own
exactly.
Private security. He walks around with like 15 CPD officers. They're watching his block at all times.
Johnson, I'm sure Art Johnson here's the same. I know Polis is like that. And then they just busted the mayor of Boston, who also is all in on defunding the cops. They all have their own private Pinkertons patrolling their own little neighborhoods. And meanwhile, there's just chaos reigning supreme all over everything else in their cities. That's how these guys operate. But Mike, don't worry.
It's fantastic.
He's raising kids just like you, man.
You know what it feels like when you get a report when a 14-year-old is shot or worse, killed? That weighs on me every freaking day. I'm raising children in this city. I know what it's like to feel unsafe and to be targeted. We have to stop as a city falling to some of the most ridiculous remedial forms of governance. It has not worked. And now we're doing stuff that works, and then they want to come up with another idea that has not worked. What sense does that make? I'm saying ask deeper, more profound questions about why young people are gathering in spaces in the first place. That's why I was up to
because you defunded the cops. They know that they can gather and cause trouble and suffer no repercussions or consequences, man. It's really simple.
And if the cops try to do something, one of them gets hurt, you are on the side of the fucking criminals.
I know, dude.
You're never on the side of the
You
cops.
guys passed a law 2 years ago that made it illegal for cops to chase thieves running from stores that they just stole from, dude.
Because a 14-year-old was shot running away from the cops with a gun at 2:00 in the morning after shooting at cars. That's
It's just like I'm saying, dude.
No, that's unbelievable. And I love how they defunded the police in 2020, so crime skyrocketed. Higher than it's ever been. And then now it's going down almost to normal. And they're like, look how good we did. We brought it back down. We brought the crime back down to where it was before we let it get out of control.
Oh, it all makes sense. Yeah, okay.
And we didn't really stop the crime. We just stopped arresting people, charging people.
We just don't have the statistics anymore, all right? It's going on. There's crime happening. You just don't know about it.
Not enough cops to arrest them. What do you want from me?
freaking midnight on Saturday night out, hanging out with some of the young people at the late night basketball, showing up for these young brothers. They all could be my son. They can all be my nephews. And it's just like we're debating something that doesn't work. Why are we even debating it? Here's what people should be asking. Mayor Johnson, how is it that within 2 years, your administration has driven violent crime down in this city more than we've seen in a decade, if not longer? Ask me what is working.
We know the answer. You guys
versus a failed attempt to criminalize people.
All right, man. And I think ultimately what Mike Johnson is trying to say to everybody is when it comes to voting blue, no matter who. I've got a feeling. Yeah. Yeah, man. That's right.
He's got a feeling things are getting better.
That's right, man. It feels like it, right?
No need for a curfew. No need to start arresting these teens. He's a man raising black teens. He knows. We just got to show up for their basketball games.
That's right, man. Show up for the young brothers, man. That's what it's all about.
The young brothers. That's all we got to do, man. Show up and play basketball. Come on.
You guys, I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Chicago, you need a Batman. All right, you need a vigilante dressed in leather, going out at night in a super, a souped-up Corvette, shooting Gatling hooks and smoke bombs and just tying up criminals before the cops get there, right? That's what we need. The cops show up.
Just shutting down the drug markets.
Cops show up and they see like the 4 criminals tied together in a ball hanging from the rooftop, right? And then like, Batman.
Hanging under the bridge.
That's what Chicago needs. It's the only way anything will change, because just like in Denver, as Emma and I talk about constantly, it's only going to keep getting worse. We are on one track. There is no fork in the road. We're heading down this pathway, and there's no looking back. We're in a super majority, and the elections are rigged here. It ain't ever changing. It's just going to keep keep progressing to this inevitable communistic, socialistic dystopian nightmare, which is what California is, and that's where we're going.
San
That's
Francisco.
right, man.
Yeah, that's
So
what we're
come
all
to the
gonna become.
Detroit of the Midwestern Plains. It used to be called Denver, now it's Detroit. I think that's what we're gonna become.
We're all
Mike, I
headed
can't
that
believe I'm
way.
saying it. There's no doubt about it. This is the fastest hour in the universe. I want to thank everybody for hanging out, enjoying the good times, great oldies. We do have so much more to get to in the second half. DJ Rodfather himself preparing to kick out the hot tracks and the classic jams. I'm sure he's got something juicy coming at us down the pike.
There's only one song you can play, man, on a nice hot summer day. Song of the summer.
Oh my God, there's no way you're doing it.
Problem.
Is this
ever
Kanye?
Since I was a little boy, you know.
Even
Actually,
better.
I think it's gotten.
Someone said the
worse
gay Kanye.
as I've gotten
The
older.
gay.
No, this is Will Smith, isn't it? No.
I'm literally experiencing it
Why does he
right now.
Did he make the worst song ever created? This might be the worst song I've ever heard.
And
this video is opening with him talking to a psychiatrist.
make me understand.
Wow, this is the worst song ever written. We'll be back after.
I like pretty girls.
Girls, 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 girls.
I love pretty girls.
Girls, 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 girls.
I like pretty girls.
Girls, 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 girls.
I love pretty girls.
Girls, 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 girls.
You don't gotta wait in line tonight. You too fine for the line tonight. 5 plus 5, you a dime tonight. It's a full house, better play your cards right. I'ma post your pick if you pose. Make one phone call, you in vogue. Head, shoulders, knees, toes. Hold up, wait, pose. I'm about to do some investing. I'll spend it on you and your bestie. You and your twin on a jet ski. I'll change your life if you let me. I like pretty girls.
Girls, 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 girls.
I love pretty girls.
Girls, girls, girls.
I like pretty girls.
Girls, 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 girls.
I love pretty girls.
Girls, 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 girls.
All the pretty girls, put your drink up. I get you anything you think of. I like BBLs, that stand for bad, bad blink up. I've been in the club all night in the section. Picture perfect, I swear you perfection. I like you, and you. It don't matter about your complexion. There's not a lot of women not pretty to me. I mean, she pretty to me. And I ain't talking about just the pretty you see. But the pretty I like you be. Pretty girls.
Girls, 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 girls.
I love pretty girls.
Girls, 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 girls.
I like pretty girls.
Girls, 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 girls.
I love pretty girls.
Girls, 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 girls.
Vanilla, chocolate, strawberry, lemon. I like women. There it is, truth about me. Ain't too many women ain't pretty to 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 me. As far as I can see.
I like pretty girls. Pretty girls. I like pretty girls.
So that's pretty much it. So what do you think?
All right. Yeah, man. That was absolutely awful, man. My God. Holy cow.
One of the worst songs I've ever heard. Yeah, that's one of the worst songs I've ever heard.
Oh, yeah.
That's terrible.
Oh, I think I'm getting a little my in the background. Oh yeah. Yeah, worst song of all time. This is the I Am Not a Gay Man anthem for all the gay men out there that are in the closet. This is coming from the heart of a 3/4 bearded lesbian Subaru driver such as myself.
That is,
Wow.
yeah, only a gay man could write that song.
I can't wait to hear the rest of the album. Do you have you listened to it at all, or
No.
he's got to do a song about the slap, right? Why would you not make your first hit about the slap? Call it the slap. He should really own it and have a pop song called the Summer Slap, right?
Summer
Yeah.
slap. I think he wants to forget about it.
You know, you can't. That's one of those things that 50 years from now, people will only remember Will Smith for the slap and nothing else. You know, that'll be like the only thing people still talk about when it comes to Will Smith, the slap.
Because it was so ridiculous. It was so
Well,
ridiculous.
even now, I was reading articles pertaining to Will Smith's comeback tour here that he's doing. You know, he's doing all these like interviews for Variety and People magazine and
Very
yeah,
straight.
they're going over and he's jumping on some podcasts, and he's doing these interviews and he's trying to reinvent his image and kind of come back onto the scene, and it doesn't seem to be working. It seems a little far-fetched that he can kind of get into the pop culture zeitgeist like he used to be able to.
He's too
But
old.
as I'm reading these articles, at some point, whether it's in the beginning or at the end, they have to acknowledge the fact that Will Smith is no longer making movies because he slapped Chris Rock at the Academy Awards, and they they pop it in somewhere in the article or somewhere in the interview. They have to inevitably ask Will Smith about that fateful night where he marched onto stage and slapped Chris Rock for absolutely no reason. It was totally insane that it happened. And every time I come to that point in the interview or in the article, I just burst out laughing, and it's all I can think about is how that was just such a miraculous moment in the modern era because, and we've discussed this before, we as a society were so divided. I mean, it was anti-vaxxers versus the vaccine fanatics, the Fauci fanatics versus the Joe Rogan crowd. And everybody, we were still in the throes of the vaccine mandates, and some places were coming out of their lockdown scenarios. This is what, 2022, if I'm not mistaken, that this occurred. So
Yeah, around
we
there.
we were opening up. We were at this point where I think most people were going on vacation to Florida because it was the only free state in the union, right? And Texas, yeah,
is when
everyone was
everybody
going to
moving.
Austin, Texas, and Fort Lauderdale, and enjoying the freedoms of the old America that they used to know. The rest of us were living in the new normal in our lockdown, dystopian, draconian societies, and so we were still very divided at this point. I think we were kind of a year out from the Jan 6th fiasco, and it was just a tough time to be alive. All of a sudden, Will Smith. Oh, is that me or you? Oh, and he paused, which means we all know how this plays out. I think Bill Gates is calling you. But the slap is what brought us out of all that division. It was the most unifying moment that I could relate to over the last 5 years. We've kind of, we were all separated, and then we merged together and found unity with the slap, and then now we're back to being separated again. We need another slap. That's what we need. We need Will Smith to slap us back to unity.
Right. He tried with pretty girls. Not gonna work.
No, not at all. I mean, he should have just been honest with it. There's this. So one of the interviews that he did, they ask him what drove him to come out of retirement from a music perspective and put this album together. And apparently he reached out to some big wigs in the industry, one of them being Jay-Z of all people. And Jay-Z gave him this great advice. He said, you got to be honest. Don't do it if you're not going to be honest. Go all in and be honest with yourself and with your creation. And then I think you should go make this album. So what did Will Smith do?
That's when I realized Jay-Z was an idiot. And I did the total opposite. I realize this guy's a real fucking moron.
What if this guy? He's a billionaire who created Rockefeller Records. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Married to
The
Beyonce.
fuck does he know? Be honest. Get the fuck out of here.
I love.
I'm gonna make a song, Pretty Girls.
the interview's so unreal. Like, Will Smith, are you not hearing yourself? Like, Will's telling the stories. Like, yeah, Jay-Z told me the only way I could do it is if I be honest. And Will's like, so I went out there and I was honest, baby. You created Pretty Girls, dude? I don't think so, man.
I like Pretty
That's
Girls.
right. He's got the pen and the pad. Pretty Girls. Yeah. This is honest. Everybody's going to believe me about this one.
How hard do you think Jay-Z tried to like, hey, Will, everybody knows. You just gotta
That's
be
right.
honest. It's okay.
Yeah.
We all love you, brother.
2025, you see how popular Pride Fest is, man? No one's going to judge you anymore. Come on.
Will's like, what are you talking about? I don't even know. Honesty. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
like
that's
Pretty
right.
Girls.
This is a banger. Call it Pretty Girls.
Listen, Will, no straight guy even talks about girls like that.
He like has the convo with Jay-Z. Yo, Will, just be honest with yourself. And Will Smith gets into the studio and he goes, I got a new one. This is straight from the heart. This is just my soul unleashed, pouring out. I like pretty girls, right? Yeah, I like pretty girls.
The record skips. Everybody in the studio is like... You're married to a bald lady who's fucking your son's best friend. All right.
How do you go and do these interviews and be like, I was told to be honest, so I wrote Pretty Girls? Like, dude, we all know you're gay, man. Like, there's so many rumors. All these rappers are going on these podcasts saying, like, if there's one open secret in Hollywood, it's Will Smith is gay. Like, everybody knows you're gay, dude. And it's okay.
He was always at the Diddy party. Always at the Diddy party.
Yeah,
Last to
that's
leave, Will Smith. Come on, man. We know. It's okay.
Yeah.
Plus, you went up there and slapped Chris Rock. Like that, and the whole thing was
I know.
weird.
I
The
know.
slap.
I just love.
You know? It's like you didn't even hit him.
Yeah,
You just
yeah,
slapped him.
That's right. Give him a good slap. That
It's
was the
weird.
most unifying American moment in the modern era. So
Big
look back
Willie
on it
style.
fondly.
Man.
Yeah, man.
Well, dude, I ran out of weed today, so I was like, man, I'm not going to Michigan. It's a far drive. So I just stopped at an Illinois dispensary for the
All
first time in a
right.
year.
Yeah.
Bro, first of all, I thought it was closed. I was like, no way, is this over? There was one
Damn, dude.
car. And then I go in and it's deserted, dude. It is like nothing what it used to be. They totally ruined the market here.
Everybody's going out of state. Is that what's happening?
I don't know what it is, but maybe they just opened too many and people are going out of state, and the taxes. I mean, it was crazy. The taxes were
They probably just
insane.
opened up the door for the black market to resurge, would be my guess, honestly. And here in Colorado, especially when I was in Boulder and working in the restaurant bar scene, I knew a lot of fellas who knew people that grew legally, but also sold it on the side. And the side stuff was always a lot
Yeah.
better, because the legal stuff has to go through this process and it kind of sits around a lot longer. Whereas you can get some really good fresh stuff from the grower right off the bat. And it's not getting washed with any kind of chemicals so it can pass certain test requirements. There's a lot of weird stuff that goes on with the weed now in the legal industry. And
Yeah,
they do it to
something
make
good.
it safe for consumption on a mass level. So you have to get rid of all these different potential pesticides or molds or all this other crap. Whereas when we were younger guys, who knew who was growing this stuff, and we'd get it pretty much fresh after it was grown, or shipped over in a brick from Mexico. But now especially a couple years ago, I recall the black market weed was kick ass, man. I mean, and you could get it for half the price. That Colorado ran into that kind of
Yeah.
issue, and then eventually saturation of the market, and I think I don't know what happened, but then the prices plummeted, and so the quality
Not
plummeted
ours,
too.
man. They were like everything was 30% off. And I was like, all right, I'll take that. It was an eighth and a gram of concentrate. It was like $100. And I was like, all right, I guess that's not too bad. Then it was 141 after tax.
All right.
Like, whoa.
Wow. Very nice.
It's pretty absurd.
Good quality stuff though, or what are you getting there? Because if you're paying,
not just like an eighth of like some whatever weed. Like it wasn't even that good.
I'm gonna assume this all has to do with the ICE raids, and maybe that's why you're seeing nobody in the stores. Everybody's afraid that they're gonna get arrested leaving the parking lot now. So that might be what you have going on here. All the Latinas, they probably the Latinx, if you will, they probably. Yeah.
I don't know, man. They used to have fucking 2 sections, medical and then just like whatever,
man.
regular and recreational, medical and recreational. Now it's just one teller serving everybody.
Yeah, well,
it's like it's not even 2. It used to be 2 sections with a line on both. Man,
I think people are just looking out for their health, Mike. But it's all over the news these days. I'm sure you didn't see it like I did. Cannabis use linked to a double risk of heart disease death, new study finds. Yeah.
Blame it on the
It has nothing to
weed.
do with that experimental gene therapy we mandated everybody take a couple years ago, right? That it has a number one known side effect of myocarditis. I don't pay attention to that, right? No, it's all the pot you guys are smoking, man.
Did you see the Bill
I did
Maher?
watch Bill Maher. Yeah, man. It was a good show.
That one dude was so funny when he was like, the one good thing Trump did was Operation Warp Speed. He got out the best vaccine that's ever been created, and he never talks about it.
Oh man, I did
So
catch that
funny.
part. I thought that was hilarious, actually. Bill Maher also got caught on a Jan 6th kind of lie. All the narratives seem to be falling apart with those guys, but yeah, I love how.
Oh, dude, the further we get from Jan 6, how many? One girl died. One girl died. Here we are 4 years later. That story has turned into multiple cops died. People died. You know what I mean? There were no guns. It wasn't an insurrection.
No, they keep trying to claim all these cops died. I keep seeing that narrative float in, but reality is as it is, which is one person died on Jan 6th. It was Ashley Babbitt. She was an unarmed white former veteran who was shot in the face by a black cop. It's pretty amazing that those are the details of the scenario. If those roles were reversed, could you imagine? We'd still be talking about this one black chick who got shot in the face by the white cop.
Oh, no.
We'd still be saying her name nonstop to this moment.
I always think about the if the guy stayed home that day, like if Derek Chauvin would have stayed home that day, George Floyd would have still died.
Right.
If that cop on Jan 6 would have stayed home that day, Ashley Babbitt would still be alive.
Wow. Yeah, man.
And how come one is in jail and one is not? You know what I mean? One's a hero. And one's
also,
not.
true to your point, the 2 cops who died of strokes later that day would have also died of strokes still later that day, and it would have had nothing to do with Jan 6th, man.
Dude, they're counting the guy that killed himself in like August of that year. Dude, it's like 6 months later. Yeah. It's 6 months later the guy killed himself. It's because he never healed fully from what he saw. January. So like, get the fuck out of here, dude. I know you've seen them count that too, because they say like 4 or 5 officers. Like, man, get the fuck out. These guys killed themselves. Cops
Yeah,
killed
they have 2
themselves.
guys with the strokes, another dude with the heart attack, which was like 2 weeks later, and then a guy 6 months later kills himself. And then what I love about all of it is the guy who shot Ashley Babbitt in the face, they roll him out once a year on these news channels, and he like cries about how dramatic and the whole thing was, how he still has PTSD, and he's the only one who murdered anybody that day. It's incredible.
You're the only one that shot a
Dude,
fucking bullet. It was an accidental discharge, if anything, because he only shot one bullet.
No, great call. It would have been a barrage of bullets flying out. Yeah.
It would have been you'd emptied the clip. You shot one bullet. It was an accident. You're the idiot who had your finger on the trigger.
Dude.
The fuck out of here. You're not a hero. January 6th was not an insurrection. Bill Maher, get your panties out of the bunch there. Come on. Let's give it up.
Oh, man, they'll never give it up. But we are clinging to old narratives still, regardless.
I think that guy got him when he was like, you have to have you have to have guns to have an insurrection. There's no guns.
Yeah.
Like, that is the biggest. You went to take over the U.S. government. You didn't have a single gun.
The dude on Bill Maher, it's crazy just because. I'll be honest. Let me see here. I thought, I might even have him talking about it, actually. It was, oh no, I have them where they were discussing tearing down the statues. But either way, it was, the dude on there was great because he had the perspective, at the very least, of the, of having served in the military. And he talked about how his family went to West Point and all this stuff, and how, you know what? I have the Jan 6 conversation. You want to throw it on?
I do love how that other guy brought up the bone spurs. I love bringing up the bone spurs. How come nobody talked about draft dodgers when Biden was president? That guy for sure dodged the draft.
Yeah. Joe Biden, maybe one of the most corrupt politicians we've ever had in the modern era. And I'm including Bill Clinton and the Bush family. And they're like, it's crazy what Biden got away with for 40 years as a career politician. I got the Jan 6 convo. Should we dip into it and check it out? All right, man.
Yeah, hit it.
Do we say that both parties are equally guilty? Because when I think about January 6th and pardoning all the people who were involved in that insurrection, or whatever you want to call it.
Insurrection. How you have insurrection with no guns, though? No. That's like having. That's like making coffee.
They
with
brought
no
tons of guns. It's just
there's 400 guns currently in storage. 40 million guns.
Where did he come up with? They brought tons of guns.
Yeah,
Can we talk about pipe bomb guy for a second? Also, it's crazy, man, how they bury so much on this day and then create all this other bullshit. And by the way, Paul Begala or whatever this guy is, all these Democrats, they're all melting. You notice this? Maxine Waters, everybody, they're all everyone who's a Democrat, they're all melting.
That's currently in circulation. One person was killed that day. It was Ashley Babbitt. She was a white unarmed person that was killed by a black Capitol police officer.
Yeah, that's where I heard this from. This guy, I fucking love this whole conversation.
Imagine if that had been the other way around. When I think of an insurrection as a war fighter or somebody that has seen some real nasty stuff, when I think about that, what people have to understand is that the summer of love leading up to that was something else. We were talking about $2 billion in damage. 200 cities had to go under curfew. 22 people lost their lives. And I understand.
Portland was under siege for 56 days. It was so unreal what happened in Portland, man. Why does that get forgotten?
Chaz was the most unbelievable thing that happened that whole year. Forget about January 6th.
Dude.
Chaz. Chaz.
I just remember June and July during the summer of love, I would turn on the TV and it would just be like random city up in flames, dude. Just literally just
war zone.
Just pick your city, man. It was fucking on fire behind the journalist, dude.
Cars on fire. Courthouses, police stations taken over.
The 56-day siege of Portland was so unreal. It was literally black masked Antifa, anarchists just hauling, like, literally just tossing Molotov cocktails at the police department. And it was just cops in their shields, just like defending assault from every direction, dude. Like, trapped in their own police precinct, man. It was so unreal to watch it, man.
They were literally given the order to abandon their precinct.
Just let it burn. Let the mob just burn it down.
That's how bad it was. Just let them have it. Let them have it. We can't defend it. Let them have it. But God forbid, January
It was only
6th.
possible because the lockdowns were happening and nobody had anything to do. We had no work to go to, no school. There was just we're all at
that was the
home. So
problem.
fuck it. Let's put on this face mask and go throw Molotov cocktails at the police department, dude.
And fireworks, dude. They were throwing like M80s.
Totally insane, man.
And I understand that January 6th was the Democrats' white rhino, and they were going to run in that. They're going to win the next election. And Donald Trump is still president, last I checked.
Okay, take the politics out of it. I mean, look, they were there for a specific reason, and they attacked the Capitol, a specific place, on a specific day, at a specific moment, which was the exact moment that the votes were being counted, which to me makes it even worse. But okay, let's just say they were there because they were, I don't know, furious about the price of eggs.
Such a woman.
No politics. They were just like, Congress has not done anything about the goddamn price of eggs, and we are going to, I don't care how many cops get hurt, we're going to, would it be any different?
Well, again, we were talking about...
Is it just okay because it was defending Trump?
This wasn't necessarily about defending Trump.
Okay, but what if it was just, what if it was over 100 cops getting hurt and people taking over a building over the
Now
price,
you're talking about the summer of love.
over the price
now
of
you're talking
eggs.
about the summer of love.
No.
That's when people are actually really getting hurt.
Well,
that's when 22 people died. That's when we watched mayhem in our streets. And even just a couple of weeks ago here in LA, we were watching people throw pieces of concrete at law enforcement officers and cars burning in the street in our cities. We cannot have that anywhere.
Okay.
Bill lost the narrative. That was beautiful, man.
Yeah.
Yes, dude. It's incredible that they...
Yeah.
This is why we really don't hear Jan 6th talk anymore, because you've now, Democrats had 2 summers of love, all right? So you can't have 2 mostly peaceful burning protests and claim that Jan 6th was this horrific insurrection, the worst thing we've seen since the Civil War. I mean, we've now witnessed multiple occasions of people, Antifa, assaulting cops. And
it's all around the country. January 6th was one day, one place. You guys go on for days in multiple cities.
Dude. Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, that is...
Oh, man.
It's a smart move. Then we can't, can't do the J6th.
No, I hear you. Absolutely. And I thought I had a better clip of it. Maybe I don't now. It was all, what everybody forgets is that this was all in regards to the 2020 election, which I think a lot of people now accept the fact that it was, for the most part, stolen.
That's what he leaves out. Yeah, it wasn't defending Trump. People just felt like they got robbed.
And, oh yeah, totally.
You know?
And
and you guys found 15 million votes out of nowhere that disappeared the next
let
election.
me see. I thought, let me try. I thought I had it. I think I got it. This is about what just came out this week. And let's see here.
I have confidence in the security of this election because I know the work that we've done for 4 years in support of our state and local partners. I know the work that the intelligence community has done, that the Department of Defense has done, that the FBI has done, that my team has done. I know that these systems are more secure. I know, based on what we have seen, that any attacks on the election were not successful.
And if you can't believe him and trust him, who can you believe and trust? That's tonight's Red Hot video. Former cybersecurity and infrastructure security agency head Chris Krebs Come on, most trustworthy man in the world, explaining his confidence that he had, at least, in the 2020 presidential election, one that he called the most secure in history. Now, believe it or not, here we are 5 years later. A new bombshell from the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the FBI, with a new FBI director, greatly undermines Mr. Krebs' claims. FBI Director Kash Patel handing over newly declassified intelligence documents, an entire report that says that China carried out mass-produced fake ID rackets in the United States to upend the 2020 presidential election with mail-in ballots to benefit lunch bucket Joe Biden.
Hey, where's Dinesh D'Souza, man? We found his mules. The mules were Chinese this whole time, dude.
Reports, the intelligence reports.
That's why you couldn't see him.
Of the Chinese interference were from
Newsmax. They got to get better
this guy's
reporters.
August of 2020,
really
long
annoying.
before Election Day. But the FBI that we know and love, then under the leadership of Christopher Wray, neither bothered to go out and corroborate the reporting or the investigation. They didn't even investigate the claims. Now, instead, what the FBI did is they pulled back. They actually recalled the substantiated allegations and never made them public. Why would the American public want to know about that? The declassified documents, now newly declassified documents, are now in the hands of Senate Judiciary Chairman Chuck Grassley, Senator Chuck Grassley. And I've got...
All right, so... yeah, unfortunately, you can't get like a legit news report on it from like, Dave Muir tonight or, any of these other people on CNN because they don't want to report on this very awesome piece of information, which is they have proof that there was substantial cheating going on in 2020. And I think we're going to start seeing more info about this come out. You're not going to get Epstein files, people. No Epstein lists. I'm sorry. It's never going to happen. But
no Epstein list.
they're all on it. But it would be nice to get some definitive proof, at least, that, yes, 2020 was stolen. That graph is so unbelievable to look at when you see the votes that Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama got, and then Kamala Harris, and then Joe Biden, just 15 million above everybody else. It's totally ridiculous.
Frankie was just really popular. He was Uncle Joe.
Insane, man.
Beating up corn
That's
pop.
right, dude. So Jan 6th happened because a lot of people, rightfully so, believed there were shenanigans involved in the 2020 election. They had to change a lot of election rules in order to allow the mail-in voting nationwide. It turns out the mail-in voting is what opened the doors for the flooding of fake ballots. Now, apparently, from hundreds, if not thousands, of Chinese individuals who are here sneaking these ballots into the boxes. And I mean, it's pretty clear that it was a multinational effort to get Trump out in 2020. This was an international agenda that was at foot, a new world order, if you will, and everybody was involved. The Europeans, maybe the Russians, probably not, but the Chinese, pretty much anyone who was doing business with Hunter Biden back in those days was probably helping out with the cheating in 2020.
I mean, imagine 4 more years of that immigration.
Seriously, man. There'd be no more America. Absolutely, at this point.
No. Millions, dude. When they start talking about millions of people,
but you can.
I love the Democrats' argument now, where they're like, "Get all the illegal immigrants and get them out of here." Do you know how much money that would cost? Do you know how many there are? We've been letting them in for 4 years. Do you know how many there are? You're crazy.
Absolutely nuts. But is it totally insane to think China was also assisting and messing with the election results when they were kind of a part of the whole releasing of the Wuhan virus and all that jazz? So, I mean, there was a vested interest for China to not let Trump win in 2020, probably because we're seeing it unfold now. We were kind of dabbling in this earlier, but I really do believe whatever's unfolding in Iran has a lot to do with our situation with China. And there's a lot of gamemanship going on in the Middle East over resources and just kind of where we can place our military assets. And so this is, the long game ultimately has to be against China in this whole thing. So China on the other end probably never wanted Trump to come in. You would want your puppet to be in power, and Biden was the puppet, you know?
Oh, for sure. Not even necessarily your puppet, just somebody that's not gonna do anything.
Yes. Exactly, dude.
You know?
Yeah, for sure. But we're cruising along here, Mike, and a lot going on in this world, and I know that you're invested in a lot of the local stuff happening in Chicago. Anything tickling your fancy on our docket today, my man?
You gotta go MAHA. That's the best thing Trump did. I very disappointed that he bombed Iran, but I still think the one good thing to come out of Trump is MAHA.
Yeah, I mean, you can't.
Yeah.
Not. It can't be 100%. You don't bat 100%, right? So when it comes to Trump, obviously, the longer this goes on, there's going to be things that many of us voted for, and maybe some things that we didn't vote for. I think one of the things that.
Well, but with Kamala, we would have bombing Iran.
Yeah.
We just wouldn't have the MAHA
Right, no,
movement.
the Iran thing is a
also.
neocon, neo-lib thing that exists in its own plane. It has nothing to do.
It was going to happen
regardless.
No matter what, you had no vote.
But along with Iran inevitably being bombed and the regime change that was going to happen regardless of who is president, we no longer have to deal with drag queen story hour happening all the time. So we there was and we have beef tallow with the fries now.
Take it as a win. Yeah, steak and shake fries.
A lot less chemtrails these days. You know what I'm saying? It's feeling good.
We'll take it as a win. Yeah, we'll take it as a win.
But we got the MAHA movement happening, my man, and we got a little breakdown on the accomplishments. And I think right now a lot of people feeling a little bit down and out with maybe, the MAGA movement not following through on the promises to not start any new wars. So let's rejoice at the very least on some victories with the MAHA.
Big food brands are making changes to their products as the Trump administration pushes to make America healthy again. So take a look. We start with General Mills. They're removing artificial food dyes from U.S. cereals and the foods that they send to our schools, K through 12 schools. That's going to happen by next summer. This is going to happen by the end of 2027. They're removing all artificial dyes completely by the end, like I said, it's 2027. They make Trick cereal, Cinnamon Toast Crunch, Cheerios, Rice Chex, the things that are probably in your pantry. Also, Kraft and Heinz, they're saying goodbye to the artificial dyes by the end of 2027.
Right,
Includes
yeah.
Jell-O, Capri Suns, Kool-Aid, and Crystal Light. Then the In-N-Out Burger, they removed artificial dyes from strawberry shakes and pink lemonade, and they replaced it with the beet juice and turmeric instead. Their focus is on the red 40 and the yellow 5.
healthy.
Also, the high fructose corn syrup, they're replacing that with natural sugar. Then let's take Steak and Shake. Instead, they're using the beef tallow fat. We've heard RFK Jr. talk a lot about this. Instead of the vegetable oils to make their French fries, their onion rings, and their chicken tenders. And the
Right.
tallow fat, it's still unsaturated, but it is a lot healthier than the heavily processed seed oils. Then all the spices in your cabinets. McCormick, many of those in my cabinet are made by this brand. Working to remove artificial food dyes and sodiums. Their focus is on the red dye number 3, which has been linked to cancer concerns.
Like, why has it been in there, and why did it take this long to get it out? Why did it take RFK?
A guy that you sued for a year to keep him off the ballot. Man, you guys really didn't want this guy coming in here, and now you're having to put your tail between your legs and clean up the food you've been serving us for decades. Amazing, man.
Crazy. Thank God. Thank
Huge
God.
victory, dude. Just hearing that and seeing the display of all these major companies that, I mean, I have McCormick spices as well. I'm a big fan of the savory spice, but you also have to have your backups with the McCormicks. But, it's weird they don't mention how in the McCormick spices, a lot of heavy metals found in them that they're not really getting rid of. But
No
let's
kidding.
start with the food dyes. I like this. Get the food dye out.
Let's
Work
start
our
with
way
the
to the heavy
dyes.
metals. It'd be
Yeah.
kind of nice to get that out of there.
What do you mean, like lead?
Yeah, aluminum, strontium, barium, whatever they're spraying in the chemtrails daily, it's making its way into the spices.
Well, to be fair to McCormick, right? It's just in the plants. that they're
Right, and Bill
harvesting.
Gates is spraying day and night over them. Yeah, that's
Can't help
right,
that,
dude.
Not their fault.
But I'm a big fan of the In-N-Out burger,
Yeah.
and whenever Emma and I go, I do go for the pink lemonade, because I don't like the sodas. And so now, hey, I told you 3/4, I do drive a Subaru, folks.
No more dye. I like that. And they got rid of the
This is
corn
great,
syrup.
man. And
Good
hopefully the
shit.
beef tallow thing takes off. Emma's been using her beef tallow face cream. She's no longer having issues with the acne that she would get from a lot of the makeup stuff or the makeup removal that she claims is what causes acne for a lot of women. So, there's a movement happening, and this is a really good thing. And we were making fun of it a little bit earlier with Lizzo clapping back at the haters for losing weight. It's a really great thing that Lizzo's losing weight, even though she's cheating. And I'm not a huge fan of the cheating with the Ozempic. We're pushing the new body positivity movement, which is you should look fit and thin and healthy to be positive about your body.
Yes.
Like that's body positivity, eating right, getting the crap out of your diet, avoiding that middle section in the grocery store, sticking to the fresh foods and things that decompose quickly and naturally, build mold. That's what you should be eating, not the super ultra processed stuff in the middle. And now we got
Yeah, body positivity should be like you don't have to look like Brad Pitt, but you got to be healthy. Be healthy.
yes.
As long as you're healthy, in decent shape,
Right, and it probably wouldn't hurt to look like Brad Pitt, though. If you're out there, fellas, try to get that Brad Pitt look going on, right?
Impossible.
Oh man. Well,
Plus, look at Brad Pitt, man. All that. Oh no, is Brad Pitt the one that was married to J Lo?
oh no, that was uh
Which
J
one's Brad
Lo.
Pitt?
Brad Pitt was married to Angelina
Who married
Jolie, and I think I just said Angelino Jolie. That was before she got the surgery. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, a little transition action. Angelino Jolie. Yes,
Ben
that
Affleck.
was the J Lo. Right.
Ben Affleck,
Yeah.
looked miserable.
I just always think that I picture the meme of Ben Affleck smoking the cigarette. That's basically how I
Yeah.
picture the entirety of his marriage to J Lo. J Lo's an exhausting human being, I think, to be around. There's no way she has downtime. Or there's a day where she's like hanging out in the yard, smoking a bowl, drinking a
Right.
couple craft beers, soaking up the sun. Right?
Sunday, we're
Yeah,
just
no,
chilling all day. We're sleeping in.
Yeah,
Till
you never get
10.
home and JLo's like, let's go hit the happy hour down the street, get some tacos. That's never getting going down with JLo, man. She's always working out, and she just seems like an exhausting person to be around.
Like every minute's
Yes,
planned out.
absolutely, dude.
Yeah, that is exhausting. Terrible.
But she's a spicy Latina, and you know what, Mike? That culture is just all the rage these days. I feel like we're gonna have a resurgence of Bailamos and Livin' La Vida Loca. You know what I mean? It's coming down the pike. I can feel it. Now that Jenkos are back, we're gonna have the Latinx resurgence occur. Well, it's in the news these days, the Latino culture, because of all the ICE rating that's going on. And, we did have those mini phony Summer of Love Part 2 electric boogaloos occur about a week ago. And then now we're in World War III, so nobody wants to burn American flags. Right?
Yeah, they died real quick.
Well, because now all these Mexicans realize they could get drafted into World War III, so they're hightailing their ass back to Mexico as we speak, right?
I don't blame them. Yeah, we don't.
But we got all these ICE raids going on, and there were a couple Democrat Congress members or governors that were like arrested on top of Jose Padilla from the other week. There's
Fred, you're gonna make him
sorry,
cry.
sorry,
Come on.
Jose. I mean, Alex.
Not fair.
Is
That's
it Jose
not
or Jose
nice.
B? I can never tell these days. So, ICE is in the news, and there's a lot of pushback against these guys, and they're trying to push a law where they want the ICE to not wear face coverings,
That's
which is
so
insane.
funny.
So Antifa,
You're the party of Antifa.
the people
yeah.
tossing Molotov cocktails and throwing bricks through windows, totally cool to wear your face mask.
Frank, they're worried about
Right,
COVID.
yes. Oh, I got it. Yeah, they're health conscious.
That's the difference. Yes, that's the difference. There's this new variant,
Right. Oh,
Nimbus.
it gives you the razor blade sore throat, man. It's not fun, dude.
Razor sword, yeah. Very hard to chant. Very hard to chant with the sword
So
throat.
we got a lot of people fighting ice, and of course, these situations are unfolding in even very public places, and that's why I hope everybody is prepared with a nice tall
Ooh.
glass of ice cold water.
Maybe somebody just needs to tell her she's already dead. I mean, how is that bag of bones talking?
We got Amy Goodman of Democracy Now!, my favorite source for news.
Amy, you actually died 4 years ago. I'm sorry, honey.
It was COVID, you're
got you.
saying?
Well, not the disease. Not the disease, but the treatment they had for you. It was. Look at her, man. Tales from the crypt over
So
here.
Amy Goodman's here to tell us about how we have patriots out there fighting against ICE.
I do have the utmost respect for her, though, more than any other reporter, because in 26 years I've been listening to her, she's never changed her tone.
No.
And, like, her morals
Yes.
are her morals. She's never.
That's why
you know
with
what
this
I
new
mean?
thing with Iran, the only person I can actually get the news from now again is Amy Goodman in Democracy Now!
Is Amy Goodman? She'll tell you.
She's gonna give
tell
it to
the
you
truth,
straight,
yeah.
man. And that's why I picked her to give us the lowdown on the ICE resistance taking place in California as we speak.
Congress members. Under the new rules, Congress members are required to provide notice of a visit to any ICE jail at least 72 hours in advance, while giving ICE sole discretion to deny or cancel visits. This week, Illinois Congress members Delia Ramirez and Jesus Chuy Garcia were blocked from visiting an ICE facility in Verona.
We need to find the most Mexican dude. Does he have a push broom mustache? Perfect. All right. What's his nickname? Chewy? Oh my God, this is gold. Send him over there.
Chuy Garcia.
And in New York, Congressmember
This
Jerry
guy.
Nadler was denied access to an
I like how they did this whole speech with Nadler and they've refused to give him a little stepping stool. And so his head is barely clearing the podium. You see this? Poor guy.
ICE detention unit at 26 Federal Plaza in Manhattan, where advocates report dozens of immigrants arrested at court hearings are being detained in
Hard for the
overcrowded
little
conditions
guy.
for several days at a time, many forced to sleep on the floor while waiting to be transferred. A California appeals court has allowed Trump to remain in control of National Guard troops deployed in Los Angeles as the lawsuit proceeds.
And here's where it affects me personally, Mike.
As ICE raids continue in Los Angeles, the Dodgers baseball team blocked federal immigration agents from accessing their grounds during a game Thursday. Angelenos arrived to the stadium's entrance to protest ICE after they were cited trying to access the parking lots. This comes after the team's management was rebuffed on Saturday when they insisted on the Star-Spangled Banner be performed in English. Singer Neza surprised everyone when she instead sang it in Spanish. Adding,
Then go back to Mexico and sing the Mexican national anthem in Spanish. Get out of here. Go back to your country. If you don't like this country, get out.
The nerve of these people to want their national anthem in their national language. The nerve.
Afterwards, that was my
Fuck
moment
outta
to
here.
stand for my people and let them know that I'm with them, she said. Neza's parents are immigrants from Colombia and the Dominican Republic. The Latinx community in LA is...
You know I played this clip for a reason, my man. Come on.
You can always depend on Democracy Now! To take it too far. They just will not give it up, dude. Latinx. Nobody's using that anymore, dude. Nobody. Nobody's using it. Oh, Amy. Oh, So politically correct. It's so hard being a
I
Democrat.
fucking love it, dude.
The problem is too, you're so in on it, you can't just
No,
stop
that's what
using it now,
it's
right?
she still has to keep going, Kiev, you know, and like Turkey and Greta Thunberg, like she can't ever let those go, dude. Kiev.
It's the problem with taking that moral high ground, you know what I mean?
I fucking love it, man. Still sticking with the Latinx. It's so good. She went Latinx too to really hammer home the X part, right?
Like, even AOC doesn't do the Latinx anymore. Even she gave it up. Everybody gave that up, man.
Also at the point where they're shaving off like characters and letters from the LGBLT community acronym, you know, like they got rid of the plus sign a couple months ago, I noticed, and I haven't seen the A pop in there for a while. They're
No,
back
the A
down
is
to, like,
gone, yeah,
they're
and
almost
the
back
I.
down to just the T at this point. I think it's kind of nice.
It's LGBT, yeah. Which I think they're gonna drop that
The T and the
pretty
Q
quick.
have got to go. I'm telling you right now. Yeah, that's.
Gotta
I
go,
still haven't figured out what the plus sign was for, unfortunately. So funny, Latinx, man. You knew it was coming. But I gotta say this: I'm a huge fan of the MAGA movement, especially. You know, I'm not down with the bombing of Iran, right? But I am really down with the closing of the southern border and the removal of these illegal migrants who should never have been here in the first place. They've greatly disrupted our culture and our economy, and it's really kind of kick ass to see the efficiency and speed with which Tom Homan and you know the Department of Homeland Security are just kind of rounding these people up and getting them out of there. You know, it's for the most part they're nailing it. I mean, you're getting the random Abrigo Garcia, who I still can't figure out if this guy was a coyote or what's going on with this dude. But you know, we're not hearing a lot of sob stories about the masses of these people that have been sent back so far. You've gotten one Abrigo Garcia out of the
I
tens of
know. I think
thousands.
you guys
You know
good
what I'm
track
saying? You're
record.
batting
Yeah.
pretty much.
You filled a whole prison
Exactly.
in Venezuela, and you got one guy getting a margarita with a senator.
I'm all
like,
for
that's-
what's
yeah.
going on with the migration situation. However, I am an avid fantasy baseball player fanatic, and I just want to make one plea to Tom Homan. Can you keep ice away from Dodger Stadium or any of the baseball stadiums until like around October when the playoffs start and I've already won my championship? I don't want to risk losing.
But I don't think that they're not going after the players, though.
But even if, let's say you're a player and you got some family, maybe, you know, you're just on edge and you don't want, when it comes to baseball, everything's about rhythm and routine and not changing the socks. You don't want to introduce this element of maybe my wife will get deported while I'm in rounding third. You know, I see my dad get arrested in the outfield. You know, like you kind of want to keep the players fresh. And maybe there are a couple questionable Dominicans hanging around on the Cubbies. Look, the bottom line is Cubs are in first place. They have a real shot at going to the World Series this year. Let's keep ice away from the baseball fields until about November. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
All
I can
right,
agree with that.
nice, man. Yeah.
I can
But
agree
also,
with that,
Dodgers, way
you know?
too stacked. Maybe swing them by the Dodger Stadium a little bit, mess with them a little so the Cubs can get a nice, Yankees. Yeah, give the Cubbies an edge, man. Come on.
Come on.
It's been almost 10 years.
The Sox got the Pope. We
That's
need
right.
Tom Homan. You know? God's number 2, if you will. Come on, Tom Homan. I do gotta say the hypocrisy of the people, especially around me in Chicago, talking about the immigrants. Like, in one sentence, you guys are saying we need to raise the minimum wage. It's got to be $20 an hour, and then they're saying, "Oh, we need these immigrants to do the low wage jobs Americans won't do." So you want to jack up the fucking minimum wage and then bring in Mexicans to do the cheap work. It doesn't. It's crazy. How could you be for, you know? You're all for unions and everything, but then you're also for the cheap labor, and you're not even hiding it. You're literally saying it's for the cheap. We need them for cheap
I'm
labor.
obsessed with these Democrats who are showing up these ICE detention centers, pounding on the door. You had Maxine Waters pounding on the door, demanding they release these detained individuals who are being held without their due process and Miranda rights. Meanwhile, we had prisoners for 700 plus days locked away for Jan 6th without due process. These people were held in solitary confinement and they didn't do anything wrong. They were just there at the Capitol. American citizens. I was thinking about, did you see yesterday one of the last hostages from the Hamas October 7th attack was released like 2 days ago, an American citizen.
Yeah.
And I was
saw
thinking about
that.
how that gets lost in all the talk about the genocide and what was going on with the Gaza Strip and people not understanding how the United States could support the bombardment of this area and this attempt to free these hostages. There were Americans trapped in the enemy lines. Like, could you imagine being an American citizen and you're being held captive by Hamas and you're waiting for a year and a half for somebody to come rescue you, and then you just see video clips of college students at the campus of Columbia wearing kafifas and saying "Down with Israel,"
Kafifis,
this stuff,
from
and
the
you're an
river to the
American
sea.
citizen trapped as a hostage. Like, wow, man, that to me, that's so shocking that nobody ever considered for a moment, like, hey, you know what? There's actually Americans over there. We should be really focused on saving the Americans who are trapped on the other side.
No, maybe you're not on the right side if you're cheering for the guys who are holding
That's
your people
yes, dude.
hostage.
Yes.
It's
It's amazing. The Democrats have more love and patriotism and appreciation for the enemy of America in all regards. Are you an illegal migrant who broke the law and is siphoning from the system? We're gonna go pound on the door of ICE and demand you get freed. But we're also gonna send our minions onto the campuses to wear kafifas and protest the destruction of Hamas when they currently have American prisoners in their captivity. Totally insane that anybody would feel compelled to be rooting for the other side in that scenario. They're holding American hostages. How could you be voting? How could you be rooting against American hostages? It's unbelievable to me.
And those immigrants, man, don't give me the sob stories about how you're sleeping in a fucking cell and this and that. I thought you were escaping for your life.
Right.
So anything should be better than back home.
Yeah, great
right?
call.
You shouldn't even be complaining about a cell or
Oh, that
you know.
chick. I'm gonna sing
Seems
the
a little
national anthem of America in Spanish. Go fuck yourself. Come
Spanish.
on.
Get
Yeah,
outta here.
it's unbelievable.
Get
dude.
out of here. At least it wasn't Palestinian.
You know, honestly, do you know what? I'm just happy she didn't sing "Lift All Farts and Sing" or whatever the black national anthem. At least she skipped the black national anthem. Thank God, right?
I don't think that's a thing anymore. I think Trump got rid of that. I don't know how he
Well,
did it, but I haven't heard.
I mean,
Man, I haven't
Mike,
heard that
it
at all.
came and went, and it might be the last time it happened. Juneteenth was this week that everybody forgot about.
So funny. So funny. I loved how Trump said we have too many holidays. Fucking fantastic. Fucking fantastic.
Yeah, man. Absolutely.
It feels like we have one too many.
We missed out on Juneteenth this year. I had a great day working. The last 2 years, we got emails leading up to it asking if we would be running our routes, if we were doing pickups, if we were being active that day. We've never taken it off over the last 4 years. Definitely didn't take it off today. Not one phone call or email asking about our status for Juneteenth this year. Not one. And
No,
I can
they
only call out maybe less than a handful of places we work with that were shut down for the day. It made no sense. And Trump going out there saying we should probably have a few less bank holidays. Couldn't agree more, man. You know exactly which holiday you could start with, dude.
And all these black people online talking about how black people shouldn't have to work. I have worked every Veterans Day that I have been a veteran. So
Yeah.
you work every Juneteenth that you are black.
Great call,
That's
man.
that's how that goes.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? I never get the day off.
It's most veterans don't get Veterans Day off. There's too many days off. There's too many awareness months. There's too many awareness days. There's too
Yeah.
many of that happening. And it, let's start with Juneteenth. But I do want to say what they need to do for Juneteenth is commemorate it. And the best way to commemorate things are with statues. And I felt like they may have missed the mark in Times Square with the sassy black woman in the sweatpants. And you and I have been onto something, or we've been kind of teasing this, but I think they should have a new statue, maybe put it up on Juneteenth. And I had the help of Grok and the AI creator. And I've been saying this for a while, but what they need to do is do a statue of the black man searching for the DMV. And so I believe this is what they need to do to commemorate Juneteenth. Go to Times Square, put up the statue of the black man searching for the DMV so he could find his license.
It's so funny.
I love AI. I'm telling you right now, it's amazing what you can create with this thing.
It would be great if you could put him somewhere in the city and then have all of the white politicians that say that line have their
Pointing,
statues pointing, like leading the way.
Nancy
all the way to
Pelosi
the
and Maxine
DMV.
Waters pointing off into the distance, right?
Showing you the way to get your
That's what
license.
Juneteenth is
Good
lacking.
idea.
Some sort of image or something that we could all relate to. Black guy
so
searching for
funny.
the DMV because he doesn't know how to get a license, I think really encapsulates the whole holiday. For all you.
Frank, it's not fun. It's not good to laugh. They've come so far as a people. They just can't find the
No,
DMV.
and maybe we'll play. I have a bunch of hilarious Jamie Crockett clips and all this stuff, but my favorite line, which was repeated ad nauseum this past week, especially this weekend for the Juneteenth celebrations, they've accomplished so much, but Mike, they still have so much more work to do. It's always like we did it all. We did a lot, but there's so much more still to come. Like it's
So
never ending,
much
man.
more.
This is progressive, right? We're gonna keep going.
No, it doesn't end until everybody in
That's
power is
right.
black. That's when it will be fair and diverse enough. You know?
Oh man. Well, I hope everybody had a really fantastic Juneteenth celebration this weekend. According to NPR, you were supposed to celebrate it by making gumbo and cornbread, and I'm not kidding, and whipping up some collard greens and talking about the black experience and what it means to you for them to have, ended slavery 200 years ago. And it's all about learning. It is all about learning about what more you could do to learn more and to do more, right?
You know what's crazy? You know what I learned? The Underground
Yeah,
Railroad
that
lady,
was Harriet Tubman, right? Yeah.
Harriet Tubman only rescued like 70
It's all bullshit with these
slaves.
stories. Same with Rosa
So
Parks was
crazy.
fully staged. They had cameras set up for it. Like it was a total
yeah.
it was an act.
It was like Colvette something, the lady that really
Wow.
happened to. Yeah, the whole thing was but the Underground Railroad, man, they make it seem like she saved half the
I
slaves
know,
in the
dude.
South. It was maybe a farm. It's like no, 70 slaves.
You're right. There's a lot of hype behind her. And it's kind of the numbers don't add up or really make it to the hype, honestly.
And they said she was running it for like 10 years or something like that.
Dude,
Wait,
no, but
7
this is
slaves a year? Not
So
even
I
one
was
a month?
dude, I was listening to something. It was like NPR something about Juneteenth and how they're doing this thing where they're replacing all the accomplishments of mankind with black people now. Like that's what they're like. It's really bizarre. But now The only reason we landed on the moon is because of those 3 fat black chicks that they made a movie about that nobody ever heard of for 40 years. But suddenly they made this movie about those 3 chicks, and now we would have never even landed on the moon if those women weren't there, Mike. It would have never happened. Dude.
Never would have made it. Come on. Frank, black people invent everything. They do everything.
So ridiculous. Well, I hope everyone has a great rest of your weekend. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but this is the fastest hour in the universe. There's no doubt about it. Thanks for hanging out, enjoying the good times, great oldies. Prepare yourselves, folks. This is the final week of June. You guessed it. We are heading upon the weekend celebration of Pride Fest. So we will have plenty to talk about. I'm sure there will be great clips online of fat middle-aged men shaking their junk in front of children. It'll be a glorious scene to behold. So until then, have a
we're having that big parade next week.
Yeah, everybody is. It's next weekend. Yeah, that's why next Sunday we'll have a lot to talk about. Still got a lot on the docket left over for Tuesday, which we will be hitting in a couple days, and we'll see you all then. DJ Rodfather kicking out the jams to play us out. Yeah, all right.
This was recommended next after Will Smith.
In honor of Juneteenth, my man.
No, not you. The bow-legged one. Yeah. What's your name? Damn, baby. That sounds sexy. Here I go again, girls. What's my weakness? Okay, then chillin', minding my business. Your souls, I looked around and I couldn't believe this. I swear, I stared.
Was this written by Will Smith too? Actually, now that I think about it.
Had to kick it. I'm not shy, so I asked for the ditches. I hope no, that don't make me see what I want. Slip slide to it swiftly. Felt it in my hips, so I dip back to my bag of tricks. Then I flip for a tip, made me wanna do tricks on them, lick them like a lollipop should be licked. Came to my senses and I chill for a bit. Don't know how you do the voodoo that you do so well. It's a spell, hell makes me wanna shoot.
Shoot that.